What up, YouTube world? How you getting on there? Just a relaxing day here in beautiful Shenzhen. However, lots of rain has been happening the last week or so. Typhoon Woodtip, I believe, has just approached inland here. Still quite far away. However, it's been bringing a lot of rain. I love the rain. I just wish I could see more thunder and lightning, as it's one of my favorite things to see and view. Anyway, today's topic, do I believe in marriage? Before I answer that question, I just want to take you back to my perspective before. You know, my family, my father's generation, it's very common, right, to get married at a young age, have your family, and being a Catholic, you know, that was just the normal thing to do, right? Especially in the 80s, early 90s in Ireland. It's whenever, you know, you get your first love and you kind of do vision the marriage down the line, right? You know, the marriage, the kids, all that stuff. So whenever you do have that initial breakup with your first love, and you're still there young enough, you know, you still have that desire, right, to get married and have the kids and all the rest of it. But then when you get into your mid-20s, I'm just telling from my perspective here, because it's my story, you know, I have a kid, right, she's an ex-partner of mine, and after that, after you break up and your kid's with the mother and you see all the crap that comes with it, you know, the hardship, especially when, you know, the relationship is not in the same country, it's out, you know, two different countries. Your perspective on marriage changes. Definitely whenever, you know, the current situation that you're in is not really dealt with in a fair manner. So then you start to form a different opinion on, you know, marriage. So if we go back to the question of do I believe in marriage, just based on the short context that I give you, without going into much details, just with the trauma of, you know, having a kid and then, you know, both going their own ways, and just seeing the reality of how bad things can get if, how can I say, well, it's kind of like, you know, whenever you would read magazines when you were younger and before internet was big, and you'd hear all these horror stories, like, you know, about, you know, how can I say, like the mother not letting the father see the kid for X amount of years, whatever it is. So you kind of, it was always like, I don't want to say it was like a fantasy story, but it was just like, because I never knew anybody growing up that was, you know, because if people broke up, parents, right, you know, they only lived down the street, you could always see their kids, right? So, you know, that was never really an issue other than the trauma that I had on the kids, right, however it affected them. So anyway, yeah, the magazines used to read, you know, you used to think, wow, this stuff really happens, like, wow, that's crazy, you know, in these other countries, you know, you'd hear these stories, right, with different breakups or whatever. and yeah, it sounded traumatizing. So whenever it happened to me, you know, it just, everything that you can think of that is like worst case scenario whenever two people break up, you know, you just hope it doesn't go to the extremes of, you know, where you're basically took out of the picture. So let's just say my situation was pretty much set up that way. So it, you know, what age was I? I was like 26 or something. So that definitely had a big impact on my thinking process about relationships, marriage, all that stuff. Because let's just say, you know, I get with a girl in the past, we're different countries, we break up, we have kids. She's more understanding, she's like, okay, whatever, we don't have to get on, but you know, you can see your daughter, your son, or whatever it is. Then, you know, would that situation make me think that marriage would be okay later on the line? Possibly. But because my situation didn't go like that, it's definitely, I've actually had the worst side of it. So, you know, it's made me aware that, you know, you could get yourself into this situation at any time in life, and that, you know, this scenario could just reoccur in the future again. So it's like, I've kind of seen the worst of the worst, and I guess it's kind of good in a sense, but at the same time, when you have to go through it, right, it's not great. But yeah. So anyway, I keep coming back to this question of, you know, do I believe in marriage? Simply to put it forward, no, I don't. For me, marriage is just a terrible thing that's a big detriment, especially to men in this current world. You know, there's many things that go against a man when he gets married. You know, a man has a lot to lose, and to be honest, like, things are always going to be in favor of the mother, right? So, you know, it's very transparent, like, you know. So for me, marriage is definitely not something that I agree with. I do, however, believe that if two people are with each other for a long time and later in life, you know, you're with each other for 40, 50, 60 years, and you're like 80, and you guys are just homebound, and you're just happy with home life, you live your last years in the home, and just like, you know, something, let's just get something out here, and let's just get us married in the house. You know, I'm all for that, man. But it's there to see, right? Marriage is a big detriment to a man in today's world. And things are not cheap, man. You know, the way the world is now, it's like people are just working to pay bills, you know? Especially back home, like I said, it's terrible what's happening back home. You know, the prices of goods, the housing market. There's people even living in with their parents back home just because they can't, you know, afford even to rent a place. And people are trying to save up by staying at their parents' homes, couples, you know, save money up, like. So it's terrible times, it's shocking times, it's crazy times. I mean, I'm living here in China, and things, you know, internet, let me give you an example here. So internet in China, 1 month, internet in Ireland could pay for your annual fee here in China for internet. Food here in China is plentiful. I go to a place here and I get rice, all kinds of peppers, meat, in like this wooden hot type thing, and it's like, I would say like €2. But then after you eat it, you can actually get refill and get more rice. I think it's very customary in China where most places you go to, you can get second rice if you want. You can get more, you can help yourself to more rice. I mean, in Ireland, or most places, I'm sure, you gotta pay for the extra portions, right? So, I mean, it's amazing here, the way they have everything lined up here as far as like the cost of living, food, leisure time. Everything is affordable, much cheaper in comparison to Ireland. And that angers me, because I've got family back there, and just to see people just paying for bowls and have that small bit left over, it's not good. While the people at the top, they all make good money, right? So there needs to be a change there. People should be able to enjoy their leisure time, and yeah, I just think everything as far as food, everything should be slashed 50%, man. Whatever it is now, just slash it down 50, 70%, right? I mean, how the hell do things get so damn expensive, man? It's crazy. Like, even the UK now, I mean, it's looking grim. Anyway, sorry that I went off on a tangent again there. Going back to the question about do I believe in marriage? I don't. And my advice, listen, we all have this walk of life, we all do our own thing, right? But it's all about experiences, right? It's all about storytelling. It's all about listening to other people. That's why I've got so much content nowadays. Everybody's got their own channels of interest, and everybody's got their own angles of their storytelling and stuff of that nature. And sometimes I'll just watch random videos, people with low subscribers, but it'd just be maybe a title that I might feel that I'm interested in, and you get some real good pointers, from people that are older, because they have those experiences, right? So they've been the examples, and they can share their example stories with you, that so that you don't become the example, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm kind of just sharing a situation that I got myself in when I was in my mid-20s, traumatized by the post-effect of it enough that it just kind of made me look at relationships completely different. That your own value, your own worth is most important, and that boobs and ass, it's like you're better off just being at home and maybe just watching something online, have a happy time with that, and you're all good, right? You don't need to be thinking about that. But listen, there is people that get married and they're happily married until they move on, right? But it's a very small percentage. The scariest thing about it is the things behind the scenes, right? All the things that come with the divorce, and things that go against the man. It's just too transparent now, it's just not in the man's favor, like. So, yeah, I don't believe in marriage. Again, I think also the ring, just going back to what I said before, we like to have an aura of, what did I say, we have like an aura of exclusiveness, right? Once you put the ring on, right, it's like your identity, your aura bubble has been basically taken by someone else, and they basically own you, right? Um, I do kind of believe in. I do kind of believe that. I kind of do, yeah. It's like a ownership thing. Um, Especially nowadays, in today's world, like we have that mentality, like we want to walk around with our own aura and our own self identity, you know. So I do think that people probably feel the same way about having, that ring and that ownership. I do think as we go forward that there will be a decrease in marriages. I can't believe like people get married nowadays and then they get divorced or whatever, and because of the price of everything anyway, and then you're trying to pay bills and then you get a divorce, right? I mean, it's just not good for one's mental health. Yeah, so I would just say anybody there that's wanting to get married, just be extra cautious. Make sure that you've served at least 10 years with the person. And if you've served 10 years, why do you want to even get married? Like, what is the purpose? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like the whole idea of, if you're family, friends, a day out, whatever it is, but I just think that, you can do that anyway, right, with your partner, right, and your family. You don't need to, cement it with a ring. You can buy her a ring without having to do it on the ceremonial day, right? Whereas like, I don't know, I think it just brings an extra element of like, because everybody's there and you kind of put the ring on and kind of, okay, now you belong to me type of thing. Just kind of mentally, it's something that questions in your head, right? Because it's so put out there. And you hear people saying, oh, it's you're owned now by somebody. It's like putting like the cuffs on someone, right? You're tied down, like you're locked down or whatever. But yeah, I don't believe in marriage. I don't. I know some people are with each other. They have been with each other since they're 18, 19, and they're like in their 40s now. They have family. So, and it seems to work, right? So. And then it's like, in comparison, like people who get married, you're like, oh, he got married a few years ago, but now they broke up. Oh, she got married like last year, now they broke up. And there's one guy I know, and he was scheduled to get married. He's from Ireland, and his woman was from England. And the night before the wedding, he found out that his soon-to-be wife, the next day, actually had cheated on him a few days before the wedding. So they still got married the next day, and then shortly after, I think they pretty much got divorced, which is bizarre. I think that if I found out that, I wouldn't have followed through, like, so, it's interesting, it's crazy, it's all these things. I just say good luck with your choosing, serve your time, and ask yourself, do you really need to get married? Still have events with your family, still buy necklaces, still buy chains, I just think that the ring and the ceremonial day with the family and everything, it just kind of puts your aura, your exclusiveness in front of everybody, and it's kind of like, okay, let's tie these people up. I'm just saying, imagine it's just like tying these people up. Okay, you guys are bonded, you're together, your identity merged together, and that's it. I don't know, a lot of people, they just can't handle that, I don't want to say more so women, because let's be honest, I think it's probably with both sexes, right? So yeah, that's just my opinion on the whole marriage concept. Anyway, folks, That was just a short insight into my thoughts on marriage in 2025. I'll come back to you guys with another topic in the next one. And yeah, feel free to share comments on marriage below. And hope you guys have a great day. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.